Hi everyone, so today I'm going to teach you how to make one of my favorite recipes. It's pretty guilt-free. It is my vegan, gluten-free macaroni and cheese. And what I like to use is this banza pasta. I like it because it's made out of chickpeas. It has 25 grams of protein and 13 grams of fiber and like half the carbohydrates of regular pasta. And you might be concerned about the high fiber count, but for me personally, because it's all in the form of a noodle and everything is processed, I don't have any issue with digestion, so you'll have to check it out and see for yourself. I'm going to throw in some butternut squash into this to add some veggies. And the key ingredient to the vegan macaroni and cheese is nutritional yeast. It gives it this cheesy flavor and keeps it dairy-free. Let's get started. Take a cup of raw whole cashews, not salted or toasted, just raw cashews, a cup of them, and pour boiling water over them. No specific amount, just enough to cover them. And you're gonna let this sit while you're preparing everything else. So I have diced up an onion and I've been sauteing it here on the stove until it gets a little bit translucent. Add right into the pan all of my spices. I have turmeric, paprika, salt, and garlic powder. We're gonna add that right in, mix it up so we're covering the onions, and also by heating up the spices, you're kind of adding some life and punch and bringing out all the flavors. So I'm just gonna mix this for about 30 seconds. Just so you know, I am boiling a pot of water here, and I'm gonna cook the pasta according to the directions. Now we'll make the sauce. So I've drained the cashews, I put them in my blender, and I'm gonna add in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. It's about the juice of 1 lemon. I've got 1 1/4 cups of water. And then I'm gonna add in these onions into the blender. And I'm gonna go ahead and blend this up and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. Okay, so all the pieces are ready and I'm gonna show you now how to assemble it. And one thing I wanna mention is I forgot to add the nutritional yeast to the sauce. So don't forget that, that's an important ingredient. I added in that 1/4 of a cup of nutritional yeast and blended it in with the sauce. Look at this. I'm spilling all over the place. It's really good. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the pasta, put it in our baking dish. I've got my roasted butternut squash. Now, if you have an issue with digesting something like this, you could always blend this after you roast it right in with the sauce and make a butternut squash cheesy sauce. I'm gonna keep it whole like this. So I'm gonna put that in there. And then I wanted to add something green. So I chopped up a half a bag of spinach. I find that spinach is really easy for me to digest because it once it gets wet and chewed up really well, it gets really slippery. So unlike other leafy greens, spinach seems to agree with me really well. So I've got my sauce and we're just gonna pour it all in. Make sure we get as much of that out as we can. This is like liquid gold. So good. And I'm going to give this just a little bit of a stir to kind of incorporate everything. Look how creamy. And you could eat it just like this, as is, but I want to bake it in the oven, and I'm going to top it off with some fried onion pieces. This is probably the more guilty part of this recipe. But I'm going to sprinkle some of these crunchy fried onions on. My oven is 350 degrees. I'm going to bake this for about 15 minutes, and then it'll be nice and hot and ready to enjoy.